Okay, we're doing quotes from the book Holy Grail of Wisdom Quotes by me, Pete Rogers. We're in alphabetical order, so it's Mark McDaniel. The other co-authors of the book, they wrote a book called Make It Stick, The Science of Successful Learning. Years ago I read through everything you could read on study skills and memorization and all that, and academics. For myself originally, then, for my kids and for teaching, etc., and for writing my books. Okay, so anyways, these guys are research scientists at Washington University in St. Louis. That's Mark McDaniel and Henry Roediger. Peter Brown's sort of a novelist that helped them write the book. Okay, so here's the first quote. Practice at retrieving knowledge from memory is a potent tool for learning and durable retention. Yeah, you don't want to just learn it. You got to practice coming up with the information. The most effective study technique is walk and talk, which basically means after you study the material, you close your book and you put the book down on the table. And then you walk around and you should start talking to yourself. And just see if you can repeat out loud what you studied. Even better if you can repeat it out loud and then analyze it. That means you know it. Like one of the best indicators if you know something is that you can teach it to somebody else. You can articulate it in a clear manner, logical that the next person can understand it. Okay, he says, there is no body of evidence supporting the conclusion that early education, preschool, or language training would show IQ gains in children from better off families, where they already benefit from the advantages of a richer environment. Yeah, if you have a family where the parents, talk to the kid and they read, kid's much better off with the parents. Homeschooling is superior, far superior to the public schools. The reason they want the kid in the public school faster, earlier, preschool, kindergarten, is so they can ruin the kid. Turn him into an atheist, turn him against his parents, That's the purpose of the public schools, not to help the poor kid. You can take a look. There just was, coming out the latest set of test scores, and the students just get worse and worse every year. All this modern BS, it doesn't help children, it hurts them, okay? The old-fashioned stuff works. Somebody made a funny comment. They said the cell phones keep getting smarter and the students keep getting dumber. Okay, the more they say it's a center for excellence, the worse everything gets. Attitude counts for a lot. The actions we take by habit are directed from a region located deeper in the brain, the basal ganglia. When we engage in extended training and repetition of some kinds of learning, notably motor skills, sequential tasks, our learning is thought to be recorded in this deeper region, the basal ganglia, the same area that controls subconscious action, such as eye movements. Yeah, that's why I'm a big believer. You should do stuff like have a little reading table in the bathroom for the kids. They get in the habit of always reading when they're in there. They should see the parents reading, at least one of the parents, the father or the mother. So it's just a natural thing to do. Okay, mastery of complex ideas, skills, and processes is a quest. Describe what you want to do or accomplish, then list the competencies required, what you need to learn, and where you can find the knowledge or skill, then go get it. Yeah, the best learning is self-directed, but it's hard for a young person to have that kind of metacognition ability to think about thinking, to realize all that. Also, the most useful thing to learn when you're a kid, and one of them is study skills. And they don't teach study skills in any high school. I never in my life met anybody that was taught study skills. But they make a big difference. Some people are just smarter and they can learn the stuff faster, but having good study skills makes a big difference. Also, the family values learning. My father was a doctor and he liked to read a lot, so I picked up those habits from him. But I've also seen, like I said, I talked about it in one of the shorts, that Asian kids tend to do better in school because their families put more emphasis on education. Quite often their families had to do very well in school to get the opportunity to come to the USA, and so they're pretty academically motivated. Whereas a lot of Western patients, they're oblivious. They're divorced, they're both working, they don't know what's going on with the kid. Okay, meta is Greek for about. Metacognition means thinking about thinking. Learning to be accurate self-observers helps us to make good decisions and to reflect on how we might do better next time. Yeah, self-analysis is a good thing that you can say to yourself, I did right on this one, but I screwed up on this one. I'll have to do it differently next time, And then you have to learn to self-calibrate. Am I doing as well as I should in this class? Am I staying ahead of the material relative to the other kids, relative to what the teacher expects? Sort of awareness of what's going on with others as it relates to you is useful. Okay, here's a good quote by Carol Dweck. She's a psychologist over at Stanford who talks about the growth mindset. She said, Emphasizing effort gives a child a variable they can control. Yeah, that's good. But emphasizing natural intelligence takes it out of the child's control. Yeah, if you just tell the kid, oh, you're smart, sometimes they start getting a little nervous. They feel insecure. Can they really live up to that? But good effort, anybody can put more effort into it. So yeah, I mean, they barely sort of scratched on study skills here. I mean, the most powerful study skills are learning all the how to apply stuff, you know. You have to want to learn the material. You have to seek it out. Then you have to articulate it, do self-talk, walk and talks. If it's binary, you know, just association between two things, then flashcards work really well. Spaced interval repetition systems work well. Condensed notes work well. Illustrated condensed notes work well. Mnemonics work well. Word association works well, etc. Anyways, hope you found that helpful.